Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, I welcome you all to this video. With this video we are going to start with the new subject. The subject is titled Digital Image Processing. As of now, we are all familiar with the wide application areas of digital image processing. Here, the first chapter is focused on to introduction of digital image processing, and the very first topic that we are going to deal with this video, that is what is digital image processing. As digital image processing, the title is having three terms: digital, image and processing. In this video we are going to see first of all what exactly the image mean, the types of image we are going to see as analog image and digital image. So the first two terms, digital image, we will be getting familiarized with, and further we shall see digital image processing. Now we know the various applications of digital image processing, why digital image processing has been so popular. So the advantages offered by digital image processing we will be seeing in this particular video. Further, whatever the other areas related to digital image processing are, that is image analysis, sometimes called as the image understanding, along with the computer vision, we will be discussing. So we shall be deciding the scope of digital image processing. The exact starting and ending of digital image processing is to be addressed, along with a useful paradigm into the world of images. Also, we shall see the various course contents that we are going to follow into this entire subject, digital image processing. So let us start with the first topic, that is what is digital image processing. So let us begin with the topic. The topic is titled what is digital image processing here. Those viewers who are very beginners with the subject digital image processing, I must make you familiar that we should first of all have the image that generally we obtain with the help of camera. In our subject we call this process as image acquisition, and the camera is actually the image sensor with which a picture, generally what we term, is our image. So that image should be digital image. That image contains information. So the extracting information from the digital image and processing it further for the specific application, we can say it is the extent of digital image processing. So this is a try to show you a prototype of what exactly digital image processing is. Hence the title is digital image processing. Moving further into the topic, we first of all take a simple picture here. This picture contains a cartoon character Mowgli here, a dancing girl, a calf of elephant, black bear, black panther. We have small huts here, the forestry, the river, a lot of things along with the fruits are there into this image. So lot of storytelling things can be done with the help of this particular picture, what we call image also. Hence anonymous person has said that one picture is worth more than 10,000 words here. So with this understanding we begin with the topic what is digital image processing. So let us first of all see what is the motivation behind the development and the popularity of digital image processing. It is mainly because of the two application areas or the two causes, we can say, that are listed here. So here we can say that the motivation behind digital image processing is due to two principal application areas. The first one is improvement of pictorial information for human interpretation, and the second one is processing of image data for storage, transmission and representation of autonomous machine perception. So here these 2 points are very much important. Whatever the information we get from a certain image, that is addressed into the first point, we always want more information to be obtained. So from the image we want the pictorial information to be improved one for our interpretation, human interpretation, we can say. And when the task of storage of that particular information, to reproduce it later on or to transmit that information from one place to another place, and representation onto the displays of the modern computers or the modern machines, we can say. The second point is said that processing of image data for storage, transmission and representation of autonomous machine perception. So these are the two causes because of which the high development into the digital image processing has taken up. Further, we shall see the three terms for the subject, that is digital image processing. And here, out of these three terms, we first of all begin with the middle term, that is what exactly the image is. Then we shall see what exactly the digital image is, and then lastly we can see the digital image processing. So very first of all, the question is, what is image here? So regarding the image, we can say that it is the projection of 3D scene into the 2D plane. Whatever we see with our bare eyes, that is actually a three-dimensional view that we can model with the help of three axis XYZ, that we have to do the representation onto a 2D plane or a plane of paper, we can say. So here the three axis XYZ, the 3D scene we have to model in terms of only the two axes, that exactly means the image. So here the example with this with the help of this picture we can see. So this is a tree into the three-dimensional view or three-dimensional scene, we can see that we have captured an image into the two-dimensional plane here. So this is the general interpretation of what exactly the image is. Now talking further, we can have a simple model here, as the natural source of capturing image is our eye. So here we can have into the scenario the two objects. Into this diagram you can see that the two objects are of same dimensions, but they are located apart from each other. So the first object is near to the eye, the second object is far from the eye. So whatever the image that generally we say is formed onto the retina, that will be a two-dimensional image for our interpretation. And here, though the two objects are of same dimensions, the object that is near to eye, that is having the higher dimensions into the image, and that is far away from the eye, that is having the smaller dimensions into the two-dimensional view here. So the 3D scene that we are going to model into the 2D plane, that exactly is the image here. Further, we can say that mathematically talking, we can have the definition a two-dimensional function f of xy, where x and y are the spatial coordinates, and f at any pair of coordinates of xy is called intensity or gray level of the image at that point. So here we can take the two axes x and y. So x and y will give the spatial coordinates, the location of the elements of this particular image. So defining the exact values of x and y at that particular location, there is third parameter, that is f, which shall give us the intensity of the gray level of the image at that particular point. So depending on the x, y and f values, we can have the classification of image into the two types, that is analog image and what is our important one, that is digital image. So let us first of all talk about what exactly the analog image is, then later on we shall see the digital image. So for analog image, first of all, the accepted definition for simply the image is a two-dimensional function f of xy, where x and y are the spatial coordinates, and f at any pair of coordinates xy is called the intensity or gray level of the image at that particular point. So the additional things for the image to be analog image is that when these representations has the continuous range of values for f, x and y, representing the position by xy and the intensity by the parameter f, so that time we can say that the image is analog image. The example of analog image can be given as the image produced onto the screen of CRT monitor. The storage requirement for such analog image is having the high memory. Further, we can talk about the digital image, which is of more concern to this particular subject, digital image processing. So again, we have the accepted definition of image into the mathematical form. It is a function f of xy, xy being the spatial coordinates and f is the intensity or the gray level of the image. So when these three parameters are discrete into the nature, all x, y and f, in other words we can say, are all the finite quantities, that time we can say that the image is a digital image. So just now we have seen the two types of images, basically, that is analog image and that of digital image. So generally in our world we have the analog everything, but for the storage purpose, for the transmission purpose, we convert it to the digital domain with the help of digital computers. So how to obtain a digital image from the analog image? So for that purpose, this simple procedure is to be opted. From the analog image we have to do the sampling. The sampling will have the discretization in terms of x and y. After sampling we have quantization, which will have the discretization onto the f parameter, and after sampling and quantization we obtain the form of image to be the digital image. So this is exactly the digital image is. So more information regarding digital image, we can say that it contains finite number of elements, as all the three parameters x, y and f are all discretized here. So these number of elements given with the discrete values of x and y, we can say each is having a particular location and a certain value of f here. Further, such elements we can call the picture elements, also called as image elements, pels or pixels. Pixel is the most widely term that is used for representation of such elements into the digital image. So what are the advantages of having such a digital image? The advantage is that fast processing, as the memory requirement is less as compared to the analog image. It is cost effective, it has effective storage, effective transmission from one place to another, along with the scope for versatile image manipulations. Image manipulations we can do with the digital image. So what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages is that high memory is required if you want the good quality of images, and hence requires the fast processors here. Further, if you like to compare the analog image and the digital image, here we have a sample picture. Here the first image is having a very precise curvatures, the edges we can see, hence the storage of this particular image requires higher memory. This image can be said to be the analog. Here all the x, y and f value are continuous here, whereas into this second part, that is said to be the digital one, the things of x, y and f are discretized here. They are not the continuous range of values for x, y and f. That is the basic difference between the analog and the digital image. Now further we shall see what exactly the digital image processing is. Up till now we have seen what exactly the digital image mean. So we shall see the processing. So into a single line we can say that the analysis and manipulation of the digitized image, especially in order to improve its quality, is said to be the digital image processing. In other words, we can say that processing of digital images by means of digital computer for specific applications is actually the digital image processing here. Now what are the advantages offered by the digital image processing? The advantages offered are, as we know, the human beings, all of us, are limited to the visual band of electromagnetic spectrum, but as we talk about the storage transmission with the help of machines, exactly we can see, or the digital computers. So the imaging machines cover almost the entire EM spectrum, ranging from gamma waves to the radio waves. As we are confined to only the visual band, the machines can cover the entire electromagnetic spectrum. So further, thus operating onto the images generated by sources that humans are not capable to sense, we can have into the digital image processing. So these include ultrasound, electron microscopy and computer generated image. Hence I can conclude that the advantage of using digital image processing is to have more information that only the human beings directly are not related to. So after advantages of digital image processing, let us address what is the exact scope of digital image processing. The very first point we can say here that there is no general agreement where the image processing exactly stops and the other related areas such as the image analysis, the computer vision start here. Along with this, the distinction sometime for digital image processing is made that it is defined as a discipline in which both the input and output of the process are the images here. But this definition is sometimes limiting and somewhat artificial boundary. For that purpose, we have the simple example here. If the task of computing the average intensity of an image, which is exactly a single number, so according to this definition, would not be considered as image processing operation, but we know that it is a task that is associated into the digital image processing only. So there is no general agreement and no general definition where we can exactly say the scope of digital image processing is defined here. So further we can say that there are the fields like computer vision, which use the computers to emulate the human vision, including the learning and being made able to make the inferences and take the actions based on to the visual inputs here. Thus, a branch of artificial intelligence, AI we can abbreviate, whose objective is to emulate the human intelligence, is here it is the computer vision, and hence the area of image analysis. Along with these understandings, we can say image understanding for the image analysis also, it is in between the image processing and computer vision. So as the digital image processing, the start and end lines are not clear cut, we have a paradigm which is useful in the world of images. So useful paradigm in the world of images, we can say that consideration of the three types of computerized processes, we can say low level processes, mid level processes, and finally the high level processes. Talking about the first process, that is the low level process, we can say that this involves primitive operations such as image pre-processing to reduce the noise, to have the contrast enhancement, and to have image sharpening. So further, this low level process is actually characterized by the fact that both the inputs and outputs are the images. So this we can say is exactly the low level process. Further, talking about the mid level process, we can say that it involves the tasks such as image segmentation, that we are going to see into the details into the next chapters definitely, the description of those objects to reduce them to a form suitable for computer processing, and classification of individual objects. So the mid-level process is characterized by the fact that its inputs are generally the images, but the outputs are actually the attributes extracted from these images. The attributes are in the form of ages, contours, and the identity of the individual objects here. Finally, the last one, that is the third, that is high level process according to this useful paradigm. It involves making sense of the ensemble of the recognized objects as in the image analysis, and at the far end performing the functions normally associated with the vision. Hence, by the title useful paradigm in the world of images, we can address right from the digital image processing to image analysis and finally the computer vision. So in this course into the digital image processing, we are going to address first of all the first chapter, introduction to digital image processing, the every detail of digital image and processing along with the application, fundamental steps, the components that we are going to see into this first topic, that is the introduction to digital image processing. This particular chapter will followed by the second chapter, that is digital image fundamentals. After that, we have the different image transforms which will be having the mathematical interpretation associated with this chapter, with this subject digital image processing. Next to that, we have the image enhancement, the improvement of information in the spatial domain. Also the image enhancement into the frequency domain. We have image restoration. Here the image enhancement into the spatial and frequency domain and image restoration all are having the same motto, but the different procedures, different types to work on to the improvement of pictorial information. After image restoration, we have the color image processing. Right from the first chapter to this particular chapter, we have the binary images and the grayscale images addressed for such operations, and here we start with exactly the color image processing. It will be followed by the very popular and the potential tools, that is wavelets and multi-resolution processing. Here the resolution is at multiple level and it is having a very potential tool into the applications of the digital image processing. Further, we have the image compression, where we are going to minimize the memory requirement to store and to transmit the image from one place to another place, along with some morphological image processing after image compression and image segmentation we have. Further, we have representation and description of image, and finally we have the object recognition. So starting with introduction to exactly the digital image and further digital image processing, we end upon to the object recognition. So the objects into the digital image are going to be recognized. How, what are the ways to recognize them, that we will definitely see. So these are actually the chapters that we are going to follow into the entire subject, along with the theoretical understandings and certain miscellaneous problems to practice on. We have the MATLAB coding to give you the exact demonstration of the image enhancement, image restoration, various processing of the images, the image transform we shall be working with, along with these other topics. So this is the course content for the subject digital image processing. Now the summary of this particular video we can make, we have seen what is image, what is digital image, which is of more concern to us. Further, what is digital image processing, I hope you are now understood well. Further, advantages of digital image processing, we have seen the scope of digital image processing, and the scope we have addressed with a useful paradigm into the world of images. Finally, we have seen just now the course contents here. So this was the summary. Into the next lecture, we are going to address the new topic from the chapter number 1. The topic name is Origins of Digital Image Processing. So for getting such more topics, more information onto the subject digital image processing, you can subscribe to Ekeeda channel. Thank you.